Hello, my dear Astro friends. My name is AstroViktor, and today I'm here to share how to spot fame in your chart. This was requested by quite a few people, especially after the Midheaven webinar I held last week. By the way, I've got a webinar coming up on how to spot money in your horoscope. And it will be approximately 5 to 6 hours long, I believe. And we're going to be having a look at different type of ways of how to make money. So for instance, we're going to be looking at wealth combinations. What stops you become rich? Believe it or not, some people have got, or many people have got psychological blockages between the second house and the first house. And that could indicate that you are going to be having struggles of making money. And then there are ways to overcome those. We're going to be looking at different type of houses from the perspective of financials. We're going to definitely dive into the second, the fifth, eighth house, 11th house, 12th house meanings a lot more. We also be going to look at whether you're meant to be rich or poor, your financial attitude, such as you more like a spender or you more like a hoarder type. We're going to be looking at whether you will inherit money from someone or actually you should be playing lottery or not. Well, I've got a couple of funny stories with lottery because probably now you are thinking, can astrology actually predict whether I'm going to be winning on the lottery or not? And I've got a question mark in my head as well, to be honest, but definitely there are indications for it. To give you an example, last year, more than 1.5 years ago, I went to Amsterdam with my friends. We spent a beautiful weekend there, and my friend on the second day said to me, let's go to a casino. And I had never been to one before. So I was like, you know what, this is not really my cup of tea, but if you want to, let's go. So we went there and I exchanged 10 euros. And then I started inserting them into the machines and then I lost. I did not win. So then I was thinking after, shall I just try to use my psychic power, in case I'm going to be finding the right machine? I believed, shall I do that? Shall I not? Is that against the will of the universe, or will the universe support me if it's meant to be? Obviously, you've got this huge scale, and I'm not even a Libra, but I've got this scale in front of me, to make that decision. And I decided to try to visualize the machine I should be playing at. I did so. I went up to the machine. I found it. I went up to the machine and I tried to insert my coin. And then this bloody machine was not willing to take it. And I was like, what is going on? So I started pressing the buttons in case something happens. And then all of a sudden it started like pouring the cash out. And I got so excited. I won. But then it crossed my mind, how did I win? I didn't even put money inside the machine. Anyway, so I was collecting the money and then it was 40,000 euros. And then it turned out that the machine belonged to someone else who had gone to the bathroom. And I was very upset. And then eventually I got walked out by the security guard as well. I've tried to explain that it wasn't intentional, but who would believe you? But it turned out that actually the guy had already like 10,000 euros in the machine, like one, and then I managed to increase it by 4 times. That's why it became 40,000 for him. So basically, I was a lucky star. At that time, I can tell you that Jupiter was transiting my Uranus in the 10th house. Anyway, another story which happened, well, just last year as well, sometime around November, when Jupiter was in conjunction with Venus and the galactic center. Now, that happens in my 10th house, very close by to the midheaven, part of fortune and Neptune. And I started thinking, what would happen if I played the lottery? Maybe this is my luck. So then I went online and I tried to register. Now in Hungary, you have to register before you actually can play. You need the bank details and all those type of figures. And for some reason, it was not accepting my bank details. It said it's invalid number and so forth. So eventually I ran out of time, and then I had 8 tickets filled up already, waiting for the numbers to be pulled out. Guess what? I would have won on the lottery if I managed to register. Of course, I couldn't. And then, all these conspiracy theories started running around in my head. Uh, was it an unsuccessful registry because they knew the numbers already, or I was pissed off basically. But hey, I'm still here. I had to realize I do have Neptune around that part of fortune, so maybe my luck is not meant to be from gambling. Very simple. Maybe I'm just supposed to be doing some videos for you guys, Neptune, right? And that is gonna give me some boost. So whether astrology is good to see that you can win lottery or not, I've got a huge question mark around that. But it definitely can indicate whether you are in a lucky season or not. Now, I'm going to be teaching about that in this money webinar as well, alongside the timing, the possible timing by transit, maybe zodiacal releasing as well, timing of your luck in your horoscope. Now, as I promised, let's have a look at 5 very important indication that you are going to be famous. And one of them is definitely going to be around the sun, especially if the sun is placed in your 10th house or the first house. Now, why is that? We have got the sun, which is all about shining. It wants to be noticed. It wants to be recognized, looked up to. Now, having sun in the 10th house, which is the highest point of the chart, by the way, I use whole sign house system and the midheaven floats. So the midheaven can fall somewhere between the 8th and the 12th house as well. And then, of course, that midheaven has got a little bit of a different meaning. But if you have got sun approximately 10 degrees away in the same sign with the midheaven, you've got great potentials of being noticed for something. Another very great indication could be the sun in the first house, because sun is going to be about giving you this type of charisma, likability, magnetic force around you, and then you can't just not be noticed. I've got a friend of mine who has got this position. She's a double Leo. Sun is in the first house, quite tightly to her rising sign. She walks into a bar, definitely she is being spotted for some hilarious reasons. Another very great indication is if you've got a very prominent Leo in your chart. Maybe what I mean by prominence is you are having, for instance, your North Node. Now, don't forget that North Node is all about what you have to learn in this lifetime. You have to learn about fame. And North Node is usually recognized or known for something. It's a very Jupiterian energy. It talks about gains. Another very good indication for us if you've got Pluto in the first or the 10th house. Now, Pluto in the 10th house gives you the element of power to be able to influence others. Nowadays, I would say, it's going to be the influencers on YouTube and Instagram and social media, Facebook, and so forth. They might be having Pluto around their midheaven. But Pluto in the first house can give you that magnetic personality. You know, when you draw people to you and they can't resist, you know, this with Pluto, always the vampire energy comes to my mind. You know, if you think about Vampire Diaries and so forth, and then they can compel you, right? The vampires. So this is the type of energy what Pluto has got in your first house. Um, and last but not least, we've got one more exciting planet, which you might not be thinking about, but this is going to be Neptune. Neptune in the first or the 10th house could be also very, very great energy. Now, Neptune generally rules video, artistic skills, acting, television, YouTube channels, and so forth. So having Neptune in the first and the 10th house, especially very well aspected, then you've got great opportunities. Now, you always want to see one of these planets to be in connection, especially in a great connection with the ruler of your rising sign or with the ruler of your second house, because it can give you extra boost of money. And of course, if it's in connection with the ruler of your rising sign or the rising sign itself, that the luck is coming towards you, the fame is coming to you. Of course, you can become famous and you can become infamous as well. So those are two different things. And maybe the quality of the aspect is going to be determining that. Another planet, and probably this is going to be the fifth one today, is going to be Jupiter. At the end of the day, Jupiter rules marketing, the global marketing. And if you use your Jupiter quite well in the chart, again, somewhere in the first or the 10th house, then you can be well known for Jupiterian characteristics. So when it comes to the houses, you're going to have to look at the third, the seventh, and the 11th house. Those are the social media houses. Now, why the 11th house? And I want to give you a very short, little interpretation on that. 11th house, it used to be the house of friends. I believe the friends belong to the third house now, and the 11th house is going to be ruling your social media friends, your followers, your fan club. Because 11th house talks about the benefactors who want you to do well. And those are your fan clubs, the followers. But those friends who you are not in connection with every single day, the very, very best friend type of energies, what we like calling them nowadays, is going to belong to the third house. So I hope this video helped you a little bit to figure out whether you're going to become famous or not. If you like this video, please don't forget to press like. Also, subscribe to the channel and maybe share this video with your friends as well. You know, it does not cost a penny for you, but it might cost me a lot, of course, in a positive way. And I hope to see everyone on my upcoming webinar on how to spot money in your horoscope. And that's going to be on the 14th of June, 5 p.m. Budapest time. You will have to convert that to your own time. I'm also very grateful to have you all here, and I'm hoping to see you again in my upcoming video. Have a blessed week, everyone. Bye-bye.